City University London is one of the capital's most prestigious institutions, attracting students from across the world. But a new investigation claims that some members of the university's Sunni Islamic Society, or ISOC, hold extreme interpretations of Islam and that they are trying to radicalise Muslims on campus. The report was partly based on recordings of Friday prayer sermons by the president of the Islamic Society.
When they say to us, the Islamic State teaches to cut the hand of the thief. Yes, it does. And it also teaches us to stone the adulterer. When they tell us that the Islamic State tells us and teaches us to kill the apostate, yes, it does.
Lucy James from the Quilliam Foundation led the investigation. She says some members of the Islamic Society are encouraging violence.
There were also kind of more intolerant and verging on violent forms of Islam that were being espoused. For example, that people that don't pray 5 times a day should be murdered, and inviting preachers on campus that thought that homosexuals should be thrown off mountaintops. So it was an extreme form of Wahhabism mixed with a political form of Islamism that made quite a fiery concoction.
Quilliam's investigation also found inflammatory images on the Sunni Islamic Society's website attacking Shia Muslims who were called rejectionists. City University's Islamic Society was approached for an interview but did not respond. The failed attack on a Detroit-bound airliner last Christmas brought the issue of Islamic radicals at British universities into sharp focus. The alleged bomber, Nigerian Omar Farouk Abdulmutallab, spent 3 years at University College London, becoming president of the Islamic Society in his 2nd year. He later studied in Yemen, and Al-Qaeda operatives are believed to have helped him plan the attack. UCL has just completed its own investigation into Abdulmutallab's time at the university. Professor Anthony Finkelstein says the evidence suggests Abdulmutallab was not radicalised at UCL.
The most exceptional thing that people remembered is how unexceptional he was. He was a diligent student who completed his studies satisfactorily.
Professor Finkelstein says balance must be struck between guaranteeing the freedom to debate while making sure so-called preachers of hate are kept off campus.
Our students are clever young men and women, often at vulnerable times in their lives, making personal transitions of all sorts. Therefore, it is inevitable that they are the potential targets of those who wish them and us ill.
Rashid Ansari is an executive member of the Federation of Student Islamic Societies. He says such societies are not being hijacked by extremists.
Islamic societies are probably the most open and democratic societies on campuses, and the most widely scrutinised societies on campus, because with this horrendous narrative of extremism and radicalisation taking place, being purported by spurious think tanks and the right-wing media, they are hugely under the spotlight.
University authorities say they cannot and should not police every student activity. But increasingly, those authorities are on the front line of the battle to prevent the spread of extremist views. Henry Ridgwell for VOA News, London.